Here on www.FaveQuilts.com, this is part 2 of how to make a Dresden plate quilt, and we'll be putting some finishing touches on the 90-inch wide quilt that we've started. I have 2 sets left of contrasting petals, and when you are assembly line sewing, you sew 2 together, 2 together, and then take those 2 and sew the 4 together. Take the 4s and sew those together until you have the complete piece that you're working on done. So I already have 16 petals sewn together, and we're going to finish up these 2 sets. I did find in my stash a burgundy bias binding that's exactly the right color. I also found a cording which is not the right color. Right side facing here, matching up the seam line. Then the cording will go inside. I have chosen the generic pearls and piping foot to use because the piping fits very nicely into the groove that's in the bottom of the foot. I have 2 2s done. I'm going to turn them into 1/4. So here's the Dresden plate all assembled, and it's laid onto the background that I chose. It's one of the mauve pinks that's in some of the grapes. It also has a leaf pattern in it that will match well with the leaf patterns of the grapes. I took 5 yards of fabric for this pink background. I cut that in half, sewed those 2 halves together so that I had a 90-inch wide by 96-inch long background. I cut that in 80 inches square. I have a seam line down the center, and I'm using that to match up with one of the seams in one of the panels. It will match to the bottom and to the side. I used a pin to match the very center, and all this is going to be pinned now so that I can sew it on the machine. So the Dresden plate itself is completed. All 20 panels are sewn together. The cording was set in, and before the plate itself, the applique was put on, I sewed the cording onto the body of the plate and then sewed all of it down. That made it a whole lot easier to put the cording on first instead of trying to put it on all in one motion. So I've cut the border of the coordinating fabric. The Dresden is all sewn onto its background. The borders have been sewn on. I did run onto a problem because I didn't have enough border print to miter the corners as I planned on it. So I put in every challenge is a design opportunity. Stay with us here at www.FaveQuilts.com. FaveQuilts is your online source for everything you need to know about quilting.